Hey there everyone, Lord Frigid here with another episode of Aether Raids Offense. Today's video covers Astra Season, and this season was pretty interesting, I guess. I was actually forced to deploy bonus unit list performance-focused teams more than usual, but there was at least one battle where I probably could have gotten away with a score-focused setup, and I just didn't want to take the chance. I even had the opportunity to deploy a team that uses Brunia for the very first time, which surprised me. Overall, I'm pretty pleased with how the season turned out, so let's go ahead and get into the battles. Today's first map is what I refer to as a prison-style setup, where the enemies are pinned in by their own formation and the map's structures. This setup is more threatening than other prison maps that have been featured on the channel because of the sheer power of the map's heavy hitters, make it difficult to walk in a tank and absorb all the hits. That being said, there are a few weaknesses for this map. One is this pair of breakable structures here. By breaking these and placing a unit at the edge of Kempf's range, only he will attack you on that turn, if Ephraim also goes down the left-hand side. Another weakness is this structure wall. If you have a tank that can deal with Lysithea and Therseer on the enemy phase, you can break these buildings on the right edge of the map and snipe a net from over the buildings. This approach is safe from Ephraim and Kempf, as neither will have the movement range to wrap around the shrines to get to your unit. The final weakness I see is the enemy formation itself. Notice how the 1-range and 2-range units are arranged into what I think I'll call a checkerboard pattern. This arrangement makes it so that if you can place 2 units here, you can prevent the enemies from doing anything. This is difficult to set up since Ephraim can prove very tricky to remove. If you have the means to do so, though, you'll have a very smooth path to victory, as there are numerous ways to break up the enemy team into segments, eliminating a few of them and keeping the remaining ones trapped. Alright, so this is the very first battle where I'm actually using this team. Theoretically, it's useful, so we'll have to see how it goes. It uses Brunia, obviously, as the main carry unit, so I'm going to actually kick things off by breaking this block and refreshing with Micaiah to take down the Bright Shrine as well. And then I will get into position for a turn 2 initiation here. And what I'm going to do for that is, well, actually, let me get to the player phase. And then I need to double check just to make absolutely sure I got my matchup numbers right here. Let's see, yep, that's exactly what I was expecting, so let me go ahead and activate Micaiah's Duo skill. That will provide the dominance effect to Brunia and -7 debuffs to Ephraim's defenses, which allows her to 1-round him. So I'll have her go ahead and do that. So after I manage to take him out, I will smite Altina up 2 spaces onto the potentially real Bolt Trap, and then I will trap the enemy team between Brunia and Altina. I'll be giving Brunia Micaiah's Refresh and just placing the 2 of them in front of Therseer and Lysithea. So, alright, that one was fake. I was kind of expecting that, honestly. Yes. So let's see, I need Brunia to be here, but actually, hold on, never mind. I need to move Altina first, because if this heavy trap is real, and it wasn't, so no big deal. But if it had been real, and if it had targeted 45 or less HP, then that would have been really troublesome for me. So let's take a look. I think I do definitely need to break this catapult so I can refresh with Micaiah later and check some matchups. Whoa, Brunia actually KOs Mirabilis. I missed something during my initial matchup calculation because I thought she couldn't. I thought she hit 221s, but I'm okay with this because it actually allows me to accelerate the timetable of my clear by a single turn. I'll go ahead and have Altina take out Therseer. Then I'll have Brunia take down Mirabilis. And after that, I can refresh Brunia and then take out Kempf from the space in front of Lysithea, which keeps the enemies trapped and opens the way for me to take out the Aether structures, which is really quite nice. So let me go ahead and provide a quick refresh here, take down Kempf. So actually, she's under half HP still, so that's useful. I think since my Naga has Wings of Mercy, yeah, she can still warp. It doesn't really matter where I put her then. I'll just move her here. It doesn't really... Again, it doesn't really matter. I'll just stick her there because it looks nice or something. Rally from the net doesn't do anything. Lysithea can't attack. And then, let's see here. Okay, Brunia can chip a net, and a net's outside of the range of the healing tower, so I can do that. This is safe. However, first I need to move Naga up here because Soul will put Brunia above half HP, at which point Naga would no longer be able to warp, and I want to get her started on the Aether structures now. So let's go ahead and get that chip damage in on Annette. And then after that, this should be some pretty easy cleanup. Naga will take the Aether Amphora on the next turn. And then I believe I'll just have Altina take down Lysithea and Brunia finish off Annette. And that should be the map. So let me go ahead and, well, first things first, let me go ahead and take the Aether Amphora here.
It will be done.
And then just check some matchups real quick. Yep, definitely a KO there, on both ends. So let's go ahead and take down Lysithea first, and then finish off the job.
By your will.
The second map is a Spring Breeze Cavalier team with a rally trap. Now I actually want to take a bit to appreciate how clever this trap is. Thracier is adjacent to 2 Dazzling Staff healers, so while it is possible to bait them out, forcing Thracier to rally from her current location, the fact that null Sea Disrupt is required to actually take them down minimizes that likelihood. If you try to bait Lyn or Ursula instead, Mirabellis' ground orders allows Thracier to warp to one of them to rally, then her aerobatics will allow her to jump out and refresh so Thracier can attack your unit as well. Because Whimsical Dream provides an attack buff to Thracier and anyone within 2 spaces of her, Thracier will probably not be able to use Rally Attack again after getting the refresh. Whimsical Dream also provides an attack penalty to your bait unit, ensuring that Killing Intent is active if your unit doesn't neutralize the penalty. In addition to this primary gimmick, the high presence of Panic Staff makes it nearly impossible to rely on field buffs. All Cavalier maps can be made easier by having open space on the back row, and by having multiple units that can fight on the enemy phase. If you're planning to take on multiple enemies on the same turn for a map with a rally element like this one, it's important to keep in mind that the rally can really only go to one foe. Prior to facing this map, the only rally target rule I was aware of was slot order. It turns out that there's actually another one that applies to this situation: highest stat total. I did some testing on this rule after the match, and I found it to be accurate, though I will note that the stat total calculation seems to exclude HP, and include field buffs and debuffs. In other words, my experience was that a unit will be prioritized by this rule if the sum of their visible attack, speed, def, and res is the highest out of the enemies that are eligible to receive the rally. This is definitely something worth keeping in mind when dealing with maps like this, and I'm quite glad that I was forced to look into it. The other thing I would note for the Spring Breeze Cavalier variant is that if you do have open space on the back line, the right side is usually the safer one to engage because it has the breakable block on the edge of the map. If you're trying to take advantage of backline space to hide your units, the last thing you want to happen is for the right side enemies to break the block and then infiltrate the backline. I'm going to go ahead and send in the Dragon Wagon team for this battle. I'll kick things off by baiting out Priscilla and Lyn with Idun and Sothis. And now there's no rally prioritization rules that I'm aware of besides slot order, and right now Lyn is currently lowest number slot order. She's first, as evidenced by the fact that she's the defense team's lead, so I don't think she's getting targeted by the rally, but just in case she is, this formation is very well equipped to handle it, since Sothis can deal with both Thracier and Lyn. Interesting, so she does choose to rally Lyn. I'll have to go and look after this battle to see what rule it was that caused that behavior, because I'm not familiar with it at all. And that actually, I think that this approach kind of embodies my philosophy for dealing with the hero's AI, which is use the rules that you do know, and for the ones that you don't, just assume the game's going to try to screw you over. So Sothis is going to be able to take out Lyn with 231s, or, well, 231s plus a Sirius, and then Thracier should similarly go down to a Sirius activation. It's definitely going to deal 9 damage. I'm pretty sure it deals, what, like 15, 16? Maybe less, since Thracier penalizes Sothis' speed. Yeah, 14 there. That's totally fine. And then the remaining cavalry units advance. Sothis should be able to take out Priscilla, since she only got she didn't have much charge up on her miracle at all. Since 1, it's 5 charges to begin with, and 2, she only gets 1 hit, since Idun's Zephyr Breath prevents her from performing a follow-up. So Sothis, will get some nice healing off of Sirius from Priscilla's remaining HP after her initial hit of 32, and I would love it if Ursula were to attack Sothis, but it kind of depends on what Veronica wants to do. Her combat is prioritized, so she's guaranteed not to die, and she chooses to go for Sothis, which is fine. It just, oh, nuts. Okay, so due to Ursula's guard, Idun's not going to be able to activate Bonfire this round of combat, but that's okay, although I'll have to see what that special is. I don't actually remember. Mirabilis should definitely go down to Idun's Bonfire here. And that's very nice because it means that her sword won't be penalizing Idun's stats anymore, or Idun and Sothis' rather stats anymore. Idun's actually immune to debuffs, but Mirabilis' weapon still triggers off of the panic status, unfortunately. So it's very nice to get rid of that. And let me hit end turn here. Veronica should attack Sothis again. Again prioritized because she doesn't die. And then Ursula's, I think it was Glimmer. That's not going to do anything. Yeah, 13 damage. Woo! Alright, and then she's going to get totally destroyed by a bonfire activation, since Guard no longer prevents it from charging up. Kaboom indeed. And then I need to move on to the next phase of my plan, which is to bait Veronica over here to this corner with Altina. Then I need to have Robin progress towards the Aether structures. Yeah, I was kind of expecting that to be real, and actually, wait, that screws with my plan to bait out Veronica. Oh well, doesn't really matter. In fact, what I should have done is I should have moved Sothis onto the trap first, since I was anticipating it to be real, since why would you put your real heavy trap so far up on a cav line map? And there was the danger of the heavy trap affecting Robin. But oh well, no harm, no foul, so I'm just going to be able to get the Aether right here. And, oh wait, definitely don't want to move a Dune, because otherwise she's just going to target Robin. I'll move Naga back, and hit end turn. Veronica will go trap herself in the corner. And from there, it should be pretty easy cleanup. I will have Altina break the iron fence and then just smite her up 2 spaces onto that bolt trap, which I also expect to be real. And that traps Veronica in between the Tactics Room, Altina, and the Golden Deer banner. And now I can do a double reposition operation to get Robin to break the infantry school so she can take the Aether Fountain on the next turn. Now let me just triple check this matchup. Like, I mean, I'm 100% sure that it's a winnable matchup. Just, I don't know, I obsessively check these things for no apparent reason. But oh well, no matter. And that is it. I hope you all enjoyed this episode of Aether Raids Offense. Today's video is shorter than usual battle-wise, but in return the maps were reasonably complex, and hopefully you got some value out of it. Next week we'll be back in Light Season, and Air will be a bonus unit, which always leads to some fun shenanigans. I hope to see you all again at the end of next week for another Aether Raids Offense video, so, as always, thanks so much for watching, and I will catch you next time.